All right. Yeah, we're good. Okay, guys. Morning or midday or what, wherever you are in the world. Appreciate you being here. So we've kind of noticed the last couple of days we've gone a bit longer. So I'm going to try and do less ranting and just more focus on the charts here. Although I hope there's every now and then a little nugget comes through on those rants. But today, it should be slightly fewer number of charts here. There's always a bit of a difference between when we're looking at crypto and when we're looking at traditionals. I'm going to tell you in advance here, I'm really suffering with allergies today. So if I'm in and out, it's just me hitting the mute button so that I don't hack in your ears. Hang on. It's raining here. You'd think the rain would make it better. It actually makes it worse. So, okay, yeah, we're at 10 here. The other thing we notice is that we get much more views after the fact than we get people actually watching live, and that makes sense. So anyway, here we'll go ahead and get started here since, it'd likely be majority members here looking for feedback on their content here. And a Grant F is a good one to start with because I almost have to give zero feedback on his. What you'll see, that those members, of course, will recognize this. Those of you watching on YouTube, Grant is incredibly consistent with his approach, which is why I continually mention it and use it as a good example, because it's the consistency here is, that is, you'll often hear me say it, and I say that I partly in jest, but partly very true. He approaches the market exactly the same way every time. So that consistency. So you look here. So he always has 3 targets. He always is working with an Elliott count. He uses a very nice combination between geometry, any sort of an Elliott count, if it's helpful, what the algos do last. And then if there's a harmonic to mix into that, as we show here, it's just one more. If you're looking at price pattern, geometry, what the algo do last, if you added in some fib time, you can continue to look for confluence points. Grant has settled on harmonics. Now, for those of you that are TradingView users, they have this XA, this pattern here, right? So where you can draw your own harmonics, but they aren't quite. You'd have to memorize them all, which is. Some can do it. It's much easier to let software do it for you. And for those of you that are interested in harmonics, and again, it's just one more confluence point technically. Underneath our videos, if you look in our link tree, if you click that, the best harmonic scanner that I know of in terms of value for the dollar, right? There are plenty of harmonic scanners, right? Because it's easy for software to do this. But the one that we recommend to our members or to anyone watching here is listed in that link, and it's very, very affordable. What is it? I don't even think it's $20 a month. You'll have more harmonics than you know what to do with, because you can put it on every asset class, and it just continually cranks out harmonics. So much so that, I'm to the point where I have to do 4 hour and above only. Otherwise, I get 400 harmonics a day. So if that interests you, it can be a nice way to kind of scan for ideas. So if you said, hey, I got a harmonic in Citigroup, then you might bring up the chart and say, well, does this harmonic fit in with what my analysis would suggest if I wasn't looking at that harmonic? So thus here, this is a 4 hour on Citigroup. Hang on. Now, this is, there's a risk element here because we have earnings. Oh, shit. Are they? Yeah, they're tomorrow. I know we're right in the middle of bank earnings. So you can expect some volatility here. So this is an aggressive play. If we look here at the Elliott count, the idea would be that we put in a top here. Oh, shit. Where are we? So here's the COVID low, and it's still corrective. Right. So the implication would be here, just not too hard to spot this, right? So that we've come up into prior areas where supply hit the market. All right, 1, 2, or just missed it here. Oh, you might bring this down a little bit to get the lip of that. So the implication would be, okay, I've got the start on it. So there's the initial move off of the reaction of coming into prior resistance or prior supply, however you want to think of it. And then I get a 3. Right. Well, if that in the context of that, what I end up with here is a Gartley, which was the original harmonic. So the relationship here gives me, as it's always called, a potential, emphasis, potential reversal zone, right? Right up here at the it would be the C per the Elliott count, but if it's X, A, B, C, D, it's the D of the harmonic. So you get its potential, right? I was trying to say that it's not it'll reverse here. It's a potential reversal zone. So you can see how he approaches, how he fits this into the analysis. So per that, if this is A, B, C, and we've got, here, put it in context. If per the topping action of 2020 into the COVID low, we've done correction here into this as a potential A, B, looking for the C. Now, it's kind of ballsy move here because the market has been just continuing to climb higher. And with the potential here now for a rate increase, it's certainly not coming anytime soon. Just the longer term thought would be, rates going higher, that's good for banks. But as we sit here, I mean, you got to be careful about overthinking the fundamentals relative to what's in front of you on the TA. There is absolutely a solid looking short setting up here, but it's counterintuitive because you're thinking, oh shit, man, that should be good for banks. Well, this with earnings coming so nearby, this might be the kind of trade you'd look at in the options market. So what you'd want here ideally is a push higher into the reversal zone to get that median line and then start the move down. So if you got, here, I should probably zoom in there a little bit. So if you got this move up here and we got into this PRZ, so let me bring this down here so it makes a little more sense. So there's his zone, which is tied to the corner here. So we get it's deep. So we got an 85.2 here. But looking for this push up here into that PRZ where you would tag that median line. So you'd have this just perfect confluence point of geometry, the harmonic, the Elliott count per the one here. We've got 3 into a 2. Now that's far. Well, where are we going there, Grant? We got is that 8-8? A 786, a 786, right? So here's the 786 right here from the pivot high. Now remember, a 2, a B, anything, it's always a push to try and get to the high that fails. All right, so thus, which is why it's a trade I like, because if we're heading up here, what's the public thinking? What's the retail trader thinking? Off to the moon. Right, and this is also one of those trades where it's a little bit counterintuitive. So you might be a little nervous, right? A bit of a sphincter clench there. Oh shit, it's going straight up. It's going up. They're going to get that high. That's the kind of trade you want. It's the one where it looks like, oh shit, this thing's going, this is an easy trade. We're just going straight up. That's the one you got to be careful of. The one where you're really nervous about it, that often will be the best trade. Now, if you get uncomfortable here, you wait for a little reaction, right? That could be a good time. But I like if it's coming straight up. If I'm looking in the options market, I want to buy that put when it gets right as it's up there, right? So calls will be out of money. Calls will be getting expensive. The out of money puts less so, just per the delta of what's happening. So that's one to look for here. You don't have to go heavy here on size. And you're not looking, you don't need to buy, 6 months out here. I mean, it's something like this, you got to give it enough time. So if you're after something like this, you got to look out and say, hey, well, that's to the end of the year. So if you wanted to get the bigger return here, if you just look at the 3 targets here, well, we're talking, this is, heading towards January, if you got that target, just using the time frame that he's working with here. All right, so even just to get to this, which would be the 1618. So if indeed this is 1, 2, and we're going 3 as he's marked it out here, well, that's a reasonable target. And then you just look left, right? All of that kind of fits in nicely. So nice long-term target here. Here's the algo target. Because as of right now, right, from swing low, swing high, we're in the golden zone. We haven't broken the golden zone. So you see that, right? The B is right in the midst of it, but it's denied target, right? So thus, perhaps a retest, perhaps it breaks. If it breaks, then see if it breaks without the harmonic, you've got one less variable here to confirm. So putting the median lines, okay, there's one. Now we put the 786 on, there's another one. And you can see it here in the harmonic, the 786 from the pivot high to his potential PRZ right at the median line. It's just beautiful. So this needs that last little kick. And I think, Grant, I think you made a comment that you thought you might have missed this, but you're going to have some volatility tomorrow, but you want to try and get this. If you get good earnings out of this, that's right when you want to look at doing it. which I know is counterintuitive, right? Oh, good earnings, up we go, right? That's when I want to buy puts there. Now look at the risk, right? So if you're doing it with options, you have to stay disciplined. So if it breaks that, you got to just bail, right? It'll be a small loser, take the loser, because the temptation with options is always, oh, let's stick around, see how it goes. All right, let's stick around, see how it goes. Now the whole premise of the trade is blown. So discipline here, right? That's the biggest, or after 10 years as an option trader and option broker, that was the number one mistake I saw just thousands of clients make, staying too long when the trade had already confirmed. So if you're in the futures market, or if you got a hard stop on it, you're out. If you're in the options market, you can stick around. Let's see what happens. All right, you heard it all the time. All the time, right? Because it avoids the acknowledgement that you're wrong. It avoids taking the loss. Well, maybe it'll come back down. I get out of trouble, right? That's, as soon as you hear yourself saying that, I can almost guarantee it'll go higher. All right. So Citigroup, right? If you've got capital to put towards traditional assets, that's a very nice looking setup, right? Look at the risk reward on this. What do we got there? 17 to 1, 10.5 to 1, and just about 4 to 1. Doesn't take many of these to hit, to offset all these little losers up here. Oh, sorry. Told you guys I'm suffering. All right, I just don't want to hawk in your ears. Okay, so I'd send an alert up here. Right, just grab up. Oh, shit. Oh, let's see. Oh, guess I got to do it up here. Right, just add an alert, create it, and I would just do it right there. I want to know when it gets there. Then I'd be interested. All right, it's nice work. Thanks, Grant, for posting that up. Always, right. Again, the thing I always want to emphasize with Grant's work for you guys that are watching here, consistency. It's always the same. Always these nice risk rewards, right? He's just developed something that he's comfortable with and he sticks with it, which is why he's doing so well. So here he said January 22 puts, 77.5 strikes. So I didn't even see that. How did I not see that? So he's giving you the trade right here. So the idea being, as if indeed we're pushing higher, puts are getting less expensive, out of the money calls, right? That's where retail goes, to the out of money calls. That's the buy a lottery ticket. And it comes. Nice work, Grant, as usual. Okay, let me keep moving here so I don't overstay on these. I got Zafar. I'm always glad to see some FX come up. I'm always surprised we don't have more FX traders. I mean, we have a decent number, but I get it, right? Everybody wants to be in crypto, but there are times where that diversification will pay off here. So I know Zafar trades FX here, so I'm glad to see he's posting. All right, what do we got here? Give me one sec. Yikes. All right, here we go. So tried my best to put this one, but can't figure it out. Okay, well, oh shit, man, you're on a weekly. Well, that might be part of it. And you're in law. Oh, let's get back here a little bit. Maybe I'll go 3-day first. All right, that's a struggle, right? So here's the COVID low. We're not quite on. Yeah, that looks like that's COVID low. So this is just a cluster. God, that is good for you for trying to dig in there and get that. One, two. Well, that works. That doesn't work. So it's got to be 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, that doesn't work. Boy, that's. There are just times where the count is not helping, right? So here's one where you go, what the, is it helping? Right? It's really uncountable. But at some point, it'll show up. Right? So Elliott's not always there, and I think that's a mistake people make in assumption. God, could you even? Well, you see, you can't go 1, 2. Oh, Jesus, could you do that? No, that can't. You can't go 2 here because that's a lower low. So you're. Fuck. I mean, so not to be glib about it, but when you're looking at this, there's no value here. So until it kicks out of this, I don't even really worry about it. Whatever it is, right? It'll eventually, if it was important to a trade I was making on the far right, then I might come back into this and say, okay, now I got to figure this out because I got to know where I am. This I would just put sideways fuckery, right? Whatever it is. Here now, you start to get better shape here. So I've got a nice diagonal, a nice triangle here, and then then I get an impulse that comes out of it. So just go, all right, something retraced here. Now, it can't be a 2, right? We can't have a triangle in the second. Oh, and this is way too long. So it still is elusive here. Some sort of triangle. Does it matter to us over here? Perhaps, but I'm going to kill your, I want to settings here. I want to get rid of that wave here just because it makes things crowded. Okay, so I've got well, at least I've got a trend here. So here's where some Elliott shows up. So coming out of this triangle, which makes me think, oh, potentially you'd have to get a 1 out of here. Maybe you can get some triangle out of that. But since this can't be a 2, we can't just simplify and go 1, 2. Maybe you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then push for the 5. So I'd do the same thing, Zafar. Really uncountable here, but let's call it a 1 for lack of anything better at the moment, at least on the 3-day. Okay, so now we get a nice technical reaction here. So this is good work. Although I probably do this WXY because you got to clear ABC here. So that would be the WXY. So I'm going to just change that here. Just a suggestion. This is WXY, or pardon me, that would be, oh shit, how can we do this? This would be ABC. Let's see, we might have a double here. So WX, oh shit, I don't have the double here. Let's go WXYXZ. Might be a better way to get there to accommodate all those 3s that are in there. It's kind of interesting. It's unusual. All right. Okay, so we can get there. Here's the 2 of whatever the hell that is into the 2. So at least I get a technical pivot. Now this is, I mean, really, is the Elliott helping here? Yeah, okay, maybe here we've got some complexity in this correction. I'd look for something to kind of reinforce that pivot if I had it. So is there anything else I could find there? Just shy of the 1618. It's not tick perfect. Maybe come back 1, see if that looks any better, even from the top. I continue to test and say, okay, is it this one? Where are they responding? I don't see anything that's better than what he's already drawn up here. So we have this nice level of prior resistance, potentially here for the support. You get the support. Now, if this is going to be a corner pocket, as he's duly noted here, you could literally just eliminate the count and go, okay, I got a swing, I got a retrace that's perfectly technical. Now I've got another swing. Now it looks like you could get some Elliott going in here, although it doesn't look that great either. If it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, let's label it up here. Oh, Zafar, you left this for me. Oh, let's see. Looks like you'd have to take it up there. Yeah, well, see, that looks more 4-ish. So let's see if we can get this. Could this be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4? I might have to do it this way. 1, 2, 4. Now, is that too much? No, we could get there. So if it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, that's very 4-ish. 5, that could give us our 3. Simplify A, B, C into the 4. Unless you'd have to truncate here, but I don't think you do. So I think you got to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, 4 into the 5. So something completes. Now we got an A, B, C coming right into that structure. Where are you here? You're going up. Okay, so this is your swing. Gosh, I just noticed you're doing this in log. Now, I don't know if that was my log or your log. I think when you send it to me, it's always what you have. I don't know that you need to be in log scale here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, just working with what we have here. So if nothing else, we're just working swing low to swing high. That's kind of interesting. So how do we do here? If that's the 3, we got a little shy there. If we've completed here, and this is A, B, 1, 2, 3, looks 4-ish. Okay, so let's go down to the daily. The mixed blessing. When you come out here to this kind of time frame, it often can clear up the larger count for you. But as you're seeing here, now going to a 3-day, this has been very choppy, and this tends to be somewhat choppy. Anyway, the euro to the pound. But we kind of just start to piece it together. Well, that sure looks like an A. That looks like a B. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right now, looks like you might be okay there. Right, because we're kind of basing 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, this is what I would do. All right, a lot of times I'm just going to show you what I would do. One more down here to get that to get a better finish. Then I'd be interested. Well, is there anything we're missing there? I think that's your buy zone down there. Oh, I suppose we could get some median lines on that. Now, remember, because it's a correction, I'd go with it. I'd always start with a shift, and then here we can just finish labeling this. 1, 2, potentially that's 3, 4, 5, right? It could be in and done there, but that's not a great looking 1, 2. That, in fact, that looks like a 3. So I'd be looking for maybe one more. Perhaps that's the internal 3. Might be a little bit more here. This is very 4-like. So I'd be kind of cautiously watching there. I'd wick off a few of these key levels here, things to watch for. Looks like you got some nice congestion here around the golden zone. So anything that comes down, so either, what do I want to do here? So annoying, trading view. I'd start here. So if it's me, I'd start with maybe 30% of what I was going to do here at the 50, anticipating that I might add another bit of it here. If I get the turn, if I get the turn early and we pivot here on the first retrace, I'd be interested in adding if I can get a better finish here, because this is in the same, we're in the same kind of chop. Now, double bottoms, triple bottoms, they're so pervasive, but I'd want one more little liquidity grab to drive it down. You see, I mean, and this is, you guys have heard me say this before, double tops, double bottoms, that's what permeates almost every pivot in FX. It's almost every pivot of significance is going to be somehow related to a double top, because that's how they pick retail's pockets every day, all day, just nonstop. So you'd want, if I could get something like this to come down one more time, where I'd be playing off of this structure here, because you can see they did it here, same kind of thing. Be careful about right on the, just it's sitting there with a limit order. Of course, often this will happen overnight. You just have to be prepared for that. But if it pops up and you miss it, so you get something like this that goes vertical. This is how you know what they did here, because you get the double bottom and then the vertical move, right? Double tops, right? Then the straight down. I'd look for something like that. If you're not in front of the machine, I wouldn't sit here with a limit order. If I got that first little push, something like that, then I would take it. Now, you guys have heard me say this many times. When the highest amount of risk in the FX market is when you first go in the market, because your stop is is typically, well, so if you use this, maybe using under the 618, or pardon me, under the 65. So you're giving that a pretty good spread here. So fortunately with with FX, you can do incremental size here. So you don't have to, that size doesn't have to scare you. You could do micros or minis or count size. But when you get that first retrace, market makers will know there's stops down there and they're going to look to widen the spreads to get that. So you've got to give it enough room when you first go in. What you can't do is put your stop right here. I can almost guarantee you they'll widen the spreads to get it out, to get you out. And if that happens, then the next move will be like this. Right, I'd be willing to bet you here that the stops that were there got hit, even though it technically didn't trade there. They just widened the spread to get them out, and then up they go. So be careful of that. That's why when you first go in, FX, you almost always are pyramiding in. You got to get enough distance from your initial stop to where you got a trade that you can add to. But it's the same thing. What you have to be careful about moving your stop to break even very fast, because they'll get you. You got to give it room to breathe. Now, as you start, if I was in this trade, if I broke this median line, now I'm bumping up the stop, but not until I get a little distance here. Now, if I get this, now you're going, well, shit, man, if you'd bought more, you'd have made more. Well, again, let's say you got the impulse out of here. Okay, we'll come into all this structure. You can just look at it and say, well, that seems to make sense. If I cut this area here, I could go in here looking for that, because the anticipation is you'd come out of here with a 5. So could you add here? Well, you got to give it same thing, right? You got to give it plenty of room. Too tight, they'll come down. They'll pick your pockets. That's how they make their payments on their mortgage for their house in the Hamptons. Okay. So that's Zafar, that's good work here. This is a tricky count. This is unusual that we have so much chop here at the higher time frame. This is a tight spread. Typically, you'd see this kind of sideways fuckery at a lower time frame, but here we are getting it on the daily. So I'd be careful here. I would trade this with smaller size, but tradable. Oh, let's see if I go back to a 3-day. Got some big, nice fat targets. If this is 1, 2, well, here's your target. So if you come out of here, if this is 1, 2, the assumption would be that it's 1, 2, 1, 2, and we're going up here, right, to try and nail that median line. So the risk reward here, if you're getting in here, and you can do it yourself, right? You don't need giant size to have a nice big fat trade on your hands. Right now, you look at it here. So if I'm using the 618, okay, well, there's 5.3 to 1. Right, pretty good. Now we're on a 3-day chart. Now look at that. We'd be going out years in time, right? This is the harsh reality, which is why algos dominate FX. How many traders could stay long that long, right? And be patiently waiting. Very, very few, right? Which is why they let software do it. All right, but there's definitely a trade there. Come up and chase that pivot. And if you got to right here, right, every pivot in FX is just an opportunity for liquidity for market makers. So you got to be just mindful of that. If you don't know that, you got to do a little study on that, because you have to understand that. Otherwise, don't trade FX. All right. Market just sold off. Interesting. Okay. Nice work so far. All right. I got Cato. Cato is giving us quite a few here. Okay, well, let's start with his first one. This is this Flywheel? What is he giving me here? All right. Cato likes a white background, so put your sunglasses on. Oh, that's the wrong one. Did I get the wrong one? Yeah, I did get the wrong one. Copy link. Okay, bear with me. There we go. All right. Flywire. Interesting. The market just sold off again. Flywire. All right, Cato, what do you think? I don't know this company. Let me do a quick copy here. 6 hour. Let's get that out. Okay, so Cato's gotten very skilled with Elliott Wave, so I never worry about his counts. And although you could have finished this, right? And I'm just teasing him, right? So, oh, I got to put that in something we can see. All right, so we got 1, 2, clear impulse to get us to that third. Now we get this sideways 4. Look at this nice price action here. And this, I'm so glad to see this, Cato. Here, I got to, right. So here's the trade. He's waiting for the retrace, right? Much better way to do it. I'm going to change that color. How do I do that? Well, I don't think I can. Actually, so I'd have to change all of his colors. So if this is the 4, so we get an A, B, C down to the 4. It looks like you might have a 1, 2 here going towards your 5th up here. He's got some upside targets here. And my guess is that I can see that he has. So the length of the 1 projected from the proposed 4, you can see here's the swing projected from this pivot. Now he's going up. 618 we've already got. So here's the 1, 127, 138. If we're going to get a bigger swing here in the 5th, and per the 1, 2, could we, if that is what we've got. What do you think, Cato? If that's ABC here, this would have to be 1, 2, unless this is part of the correction. That would have to be, so this would have to be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's a good target there. So he's got a little over 3 to 1, 3.65 to 1. And then over here, it's 5 to 1. On that push up for that, we got, looks like no earnings on the horizon. So nice clean count. Simple, right? We've got a sharp 2, sideways 4. Here's the resistance being dealt with. So there's the breakout. Here's the in your face. Now, literally, if you're looking for a trade, this would be the time to enter. So I can't color. I can't write 1, 2, 3, 4, one more. So this seems reasonable. If they get some good news here, maybe you get that second one. But if you got the first one, you could certainly move your stop to break even. So now you just got a free ride if it keeps going. This little rounding bottom here. All right, that looks nice. Pretty straightforward. Easy one, right? For anyone looking to allocate some funds, that looks quite reasonable. Okay, so a few more. Okay, so let me keep going with his next one is, let's do it this way. All right, 5th banks, right? So everybody's interested in the banks because they have earnings this week. All right, let's see. I think this creates a problem for me if I let's see if I switch to my colors. If I can do it that way. There we go. Okay, so now I can draw on it. Okay, so 1, 2. Right, I mean, again, right? I know I'm going to get solid Elliott from Cato. So he's got a nice 1, 2 here. So this is oh shit, come on. Oh, I'm just going to take this off here just because let's hide it. Okay, so as we look here, 1, 2, nice impulse into the 3, right down for the 4. It looks just like the other one, right? So here's the same idea. Well, it's interesting. So 1, 2, 3. So looks like he's doing the same thing. So length of the 1 projected from the proposed 4. Here's your initial targets. Oh, his 100 is right here. If I put my colors on, now you can see it. Here's the 100, which is what he's going for. So just a beautiful look at the nice channeling as well. That's almost a slam dunk. So if we look in here, it looks like you'd have to go with your. This is our deepest retracement. We probably have to go with our 2 here. So it looks like we're going 1, 2, 3, working on 3. That looks very 4-ish. Trying to get up that 5. Oh, I got 3 hour here. Let's try the 1 just to take a look here. So you'd have to work that as a diet. Oh, that's a fucker. Let's see. So you'd have to go A, B, C. You'd have to work backwards. A, B, C. 2, 3, 4, 5. So this would have to be the 1, the 2, but that looks like a 50. A little shy of it. No problem with the first target. So could that be 1, 2? Just shit. Yeah, it could be. That's a little funky. This looks so 4-ish. 3, 4. Can you get up that high? No, I think it's better here. If you went 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, and the 5, that's the deepest one. So that seems most probable to be the 2. Working on the 4. There could be some more down here. Earnings right on deck. So that's not for everybody. You're taking them. You almost want this to come down a little bit further. So just same stuff. I encourage you to do. You'd want this to come down a little bit further because you want the calls to be decreasing in value. So if you got something like that, to come back here and maybe even deeper. Let's test the structure, test the pivot here. This was all where supply last hit the market. So if I'm coming down here now, puts are getting more expensive, calls less so. So then you can buy closer at the money, looking for that final push to get it done. I just don't see a better way to count this, right? Unless if this kicks a little bit high, maybe it looks like you can go 1, 2, 3, still working on the 4. There could be one more kick up here in that 3rd because you haven't really gone far enough. So if we go swing retrace here, it looks like we're well past the 100, but just barely. Come to think of it. All right, so we're just barely there. If that's the 2, if that's going to hold as the 2, I get that right on that. Oh, that's tight. Ooh. Well, you'd have to really tighten that up. So you're barely there. Now, of course, 3 doesn't have to be the longest, just can't be the shortest. But if this is going to retrace into the 4, you get something like this. You got to pay attention because this is borderline long enough. I mean, maybe it's a tick or 2. You'd want to see that a little bit more, right? So then you'd be mindful of, well, how far is this relative to the length of that? Because then you're back here saying, oh, okay, maybe I've got this count wrong. Maybe this is an A, B, C, this some sort of an expanded flat. You don't have to go there yet until you see what happens next. If it comes down and retraces, you buy that, right? And you could certainly do it with calls. Right? Let the calls lose some value. You'd want to buy out through the end of the year, so you've got enough time for that to get to mature and get there and not have time decay eat you up. Nice, right? And you probably, regression channel seems like a decent fit here, staying inside of that. So you can get something even a little bit better here on this. Looks reasonable. Okay. Fifth, 3rd. These are all, remember, with earnings, right around the corner, these just set some alerts, right? If it comes down here, what is the reaction? If it comes up, what's the reaction? All right. So, SoFi next up. Let me get this one. Our trio from Cato. And I'm going to do that same thing. Because all my colors won't show if I don't. Well, that's funky. All right, this is interesting. A, B. Well, that doesn't. I mean, it's a triangle, but it doesn't work in the context of an A B. So you'd be more likely to have to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh shit! Let's see here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is how I'd get there. Because you can't use this. Well, you can't start with a triangle or have a 2 in the triangle. So you can't go 1 triangle 2. So you 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Ooh. In a second. If that's so now you got to play it as a diag. Boy, that's a fucker, isn't it? Oh, let's see. Is there another way to do that? I do an 8 or 4. How are we going to do that? You have to 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe you have to do it that way. So that would come up a degree. That might work. So internally, you'd have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which kind of sucks. It's a bit of a force fit, but I don't see a better way to do it. You could go 1 A, B, C, make that the 2, might deal with it that way. So we truncate here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to give you the 3. Okay, that could work. A, B, C into the 4. That's just out of curiosity. Look how that looks. Okay, right in the pocket, right where we want it, gap down. That gives us the 5. Okay, so there's the C. I'm going to put that in yellow here so we can see it. Okay, so his entire count, that's very tricky, Elliott. So here's the A, B, C into the B. So it's Cato, not giving me the full labeling. Let's go down a degree. Okay, so A, B, C, 1, A, B, C into the 2. You're kind of stuck with that. I don't know that it matters, really. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3, 4. So it gives me a candidate here for the C. Okay, so as long as I can get here and I can get a count that's not just a terrible force fit, although we're borderline here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I get a nice leading diag to start this with. Now swing high, swing low. I come to a 50. Now here, this algo is already, that's pretty, you might have algo already taking profit here. So that we might be a little bit late for this first trade. But as it sits right now, let's see, could we do this differently? No, well, you could, right? Here's an alternate, right? Just give these as an alternate, Cato. Should we do it? Oh, pardon me. No, so we'd have to do it here because you got an A, B, C here. That's skinny on the 2. A, B, C, D, E. So you could possibly do it this way. So coming here, shit, I got to use mine. Well, so the way Cato had it counted, it looks to me like you've already missed that trade. So if there's an alternate here that could work for this being A, B, C, and then A, B, C, you don't get a great 3 here. So it's not ideal, but it's something, there's a 5 in here. So I'd be looking at, so I might restructure that down like this. If you got something down here to the POC, so maybe you're using 707 here. So here's the 707. I want to be just underneath that. And I know that's visible range, but that's clearly a high volume node. So if it were to come back down in a 3, I want to be just underneath that. So that means I got to trade a little bit less size. So if we come up and I can come down here in a 3 and their golden zone, right? All of this. So you got some price structure, some consolidation gap to here well, the market's already filled it, but that the market can respond there. You got a high volume node. That's the one I'd look for. Right. This could, well, either way, right now you've got a 5 that's underway coming off of a technical pivot. So you're just kind of in hurry up and wait. You're approaching the resistance here at the natural resistance at the 50, but let's get this here. It looks like you're already through that. And let's go all the way to the top. So this is the big resistance it's got to deal with. All right, as we come up into the 50, put that all together. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is what you're after there. SoFi, well, they're doing a lot of advertising. They're on, I watch Bloomberg for financial news, and they're nonstop advertising. So business must be going well. Here's your technical low. I mean, there's no reason not to like that trade, right? I've got some sort of diagonal that's underway for the 1 here at this level. You could trade this with options. Let this come down in a 3, right? Calls start losing value. No earnings looks like on the horizon. So as it's coming down here, calls losing value, out of the money puts increasing in value. So you can get slightly cheaper, more bang for your buck. You don't have to buy out of the money. You can buy closer to the money, which is always preferable with options, right? So which is why you want to be buying calls when it's coming down, so you can buy closer to the money rather than buy puts when it's coming down, because the puts are all more expensive, right? It's just common sense. So then here can we get through this, right? So there, actually, the way we have this here. So we have you need more than that. So you'd have to reduce your stop. So you'd want at least 3.5, something like that. So an entry here, this kind of range here with a stop under the 707, with your first target being here. Now, if you get here, if that's 1, 2, not likely to be all of it, but that could be your 1. So you could go 1, 2, 1, right? You know you're going to hit some resistance there, right? We don't have to wonder about that. So get that in 3. Now you got a 2. Now you're looking for the big 3. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2, big 3. So that you could certainly see how that could play. You get rejected here because these guys are going to sell it hard. Then you come back in. There's probably be another one here from this low. Right now you're back in the pocket here, trying to get into that 3, 4, 5. So there's okay, right? So this could be right. It could be the way he has it initially is right. It almost doesn't matter either way. As long as we're going up here, we're going right into the resistance. So do you want to be a seller here to try and play into the 2? Well, I think that's kind of short-sighted. I'd rather wait for whatever's happening here to retrace and then get back on the long side. Yeah, I think that's, and then of course you could add some geometry in here, right? If you got this, right? So that might, right? So that might be something to pay attention to if you come back into this. Now here I'm working off of context here that I don't have yet, but just right in here, right? Just straight shot up, where you're going to get your 80% somewhere in here, as long as that pivot holds. Okay, thanks, Cato. That's a good one. Okay, I think we got all of them. Okay, so then I've got, looks like Demo, how do I say that? Diamond Lee, looking for the ruble, but Matt, so his chart's below. Okay, so I'm going to go to Matty on the dollar CAD. So give me 1 second here, guys. All right, glad to see some FX come in here. Okay. All right, let me copy that over. Oh, I got an E-mini trade from Matty. No, that can't be right. So he's asking for, well, that's dollar CAD, so I do have it right. Okay. So, oh, shit, he's giving me monthly. Okay. All right, 1 sec. Okay, well, this is for the very patient. If you're out here looking at a monthly, okay, this works. All right, so you can certainly see, oh, I can't see his, I'm going to hide that just for a second. Okay, so here on the monthly, on that, I would go up. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's amazing. Even on a monthly, I get a nice little 3 here. So looks like you'd have to go 1, 2. It's hard to do that on a monthly. Let's go to the weekly. Monthly is hard to analyze. All right, so there, that you really don't have much choice, although that's the lower low right there. Oh, let's see here. Well, this is a little dicey because that looks, you're going to have to do this. 1, 2, you can't get the 3 there. Well, so when in doubt, start measuring. All right, so if that's the 1, that's the 2. It is long enough. So I could go 1, 2, 3. could go, yeah, I'm not sure you can get that. So you'd have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get your 3. That sure looks like a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, that works. I mean, we're talking about a low in this is 10 years ago. This, as I was saying before, this is why FX is dominated by algorithms, right? Who can stay long that long? Nobody can stay long for 10 years. Not in the FX market. So ABC so he's doing a WX now, looking for an ABC to finish this. Okay, so the value here is I've got 2 POCs. So what he's doing here is just highlighting that there are 2 POCs here for as this candidate here for the B to come into play. You can see here, right? So certainly in FX, you guys know this. The FX is down. There's about 10 banks that do about 98% of all the transactional volume in FX. So because of that, they've got to hide their orders, right? So they're going to go in and out of the market at the high volume nodes, which is, I'm assuming that's what Maddie's doing here. He's acknowledging here, well, you got a high volume node here. So if there's going to be any continuation of this correction, this is where they're likely to be able to put that kind of size on. So let's go down to the daily. Let's see how that looks. So good candidate here for the A, B, C, working on it. So it looks like it's got a good start on it. So A, working on the B of the C to get you into this B here. Oh, here we'll go micro, but I'm not yellow here. Okay, I like that trade. So this is a good setup here. So we're right in the pocket here, but we're right at structure, although we've just broken it between 50 and the golden zone here. So you have a good candidate here. Oh, let's open that up a little bit. So you've got some data coming. Be careful of that, right? You never, ever, ever, ever want to trade FX when there's a major report coming. Just don't. It's just a fool's errand. Don't try and do it. 1, 2, or pardon me, A, B, because we're looking for the C. It looks like you got a nice 5 here. You've got your 3 going in. Pretty good setup, actually. A, B, C, look at the nice 3 in the B. All right, looks like that's all good. So just working backwards. Looks like you'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, coming right into the pocket. All right, here's where you want to be looking. Got anything below? We don't. That could do it. So if I'm watching this, if I'm an FX trader, I'm sure going to let all of this pass. How does the market react? You can trade the same day. You just don't want to trade ahead of it. You don't want to be in a position, especially with the kind of stops we'd use. It's just, there's no need to do it, right? Let the data come out, and because the market do whatever it's going to do. Now, you may not see the same kind of volatility as you would here on the daily that you'd see on a 60 or below, but let that pass, because that can disrupt your trade. Let that pass. I mean, if you get it here, there's potentially that you got a corner setting up, right? I mean, you're already here at a corner. If you got a little bit lower here, you got your golden zone, golden corner. Looking for, all right, so you can see how the whole thing could potentially get put together. So this would be, so do you see here, if I pull this over, now do you see how that plays? All right, so where's the pivot down here? You're in the pocket. You just can't. So if you didn't have this, you could enter ahead of it. But that's, again, you're just playing with fire doing that. But if it starts to come out of here too, right? As long as it holds, stop underneath that. Same idea here. You got to keep the size light so you can give it room on the entry, because they will go after your stop. 3, 4, 5. Now you're saying, wait a minute, that's a 5, right? But it's in the context of an A, B, C. So I need a 5 here. Boy, that's a nice setup there. Nice, Maddie. That's pretty. And starting with the monthly, and then note here, we're coming right back into the pocket here where we have that overlap of those high volume nodes where the POCs were. So if size wants to come in here, that's where they have to do it. Pretty nicely done, Maddie. Like it. Okay, so let me keep moving here. Now I've got Diamond Lee is how I'm going to say that. Okay, Diamond Lee, and I think this is going to be the ruble. Any of you are traders of the ruble, based on what he was asking for before. No, that is Ave. So do I have the right one here? I do. Okay. He wanted ruble. Okay. Okay. So let me copy. Okay. So I want USD or UB Forex. Oh, yeah. I always look for O&A because I can at least get tick volume here, but we'll go ahead and use Forex.com. Oh, right. Oh, yeah. His Elliott will be hidden, won't it? Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, that's all right. We'll just work with this. I don't try rarely. I think I've only in my lifetime, my career as a trader, only taken one trade in the ruble. Let's see here. All right. So starting from scratch. Well, this is kind of, let's see here. Do I want to be in log here to get any more history? Let's see how far back we go here. I don't think I need to. Okay. Well, that's 3, 4, 5. Let's just wick it off here. All right. So that's the lowest low I've got to work with. Thinking we completed an impulse here. Let's get that on. Right to a 50. So here we can get these out of here. Okay, beautiful. I'll get right on that pivot. And it looks to me, right? So of all the markets where this algorithm dominates, FX. So here from a 50, swing up, golden zone. Again, I was trying to imagine what the number of times I've shown that is. I think we're at about 2,500 videos, 5 to 10 every video. Right? It's a lot, right? So we don't have to wonder about what happened there. Oh, and you can see, even if you didn't know about it, right? You can just kind of say, oh, okay, well, it looks like prior structure, prior resistance. Oh, it was support, right? So up here now, so resistance got through, support. All right, algo's got it here in a second. So, all right, let's see if we can put that together. 1, 2, seems pretty logical. Now, look, we've already had the overlap, so it's either 1, 2, but that doesn't look like we've gone 1, 2, 1, right? It's too many 1, 2s. So we got to just measure here and see what's going on. Oh, God, you guys use these wacky colors. Let's take that down a little bit. Micro. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that's one possibility here is we've got a truncation. Looks like a cleaner count. Either way, you don't have a nice impulse, which is kind of frustrating, but welcome to trading. This is a good one. Looks like you have to get the 2 here. 3, this is clear 4 area. 4, A, B. No, I might even do W, X, Y. Doesn't matter. There's the 2 at the golden zone. So we get that. So we get a golden corner here. That's pretty. If I'm right on the edge of it here. So straight shot here for that. You know what? This is 2 separated here. So I don't want to do that, but I might have to. Well, let's consider that. If that's the 3, already got a break there, so I like it less since I got that as a on the daily. Let's go to the 8, see if there's anything in there I'm missing here. 8, that looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What are we missing here? All right, so this it's here. That's too far, so I'd go back to this and see how do we look on this. Now it's a 50. I don't want to do that, but I'm kind of stuck with it. Oh, here, come here. Put a 12. Question mark. Did we truncate there? It already looks like it's an impulse, so I can't finish this here. I can't finish here. I could do ABC, but I can't finish an impulse there unless I truncate here. And even still, it's not an impulse because I've overlapped here. Ooh, what's the question mark? Let's go back to the daily. Boy, this would be no trade to me. Too many question marks. Now, if we come back here, you could probably take the trade just off of the market structure here at that 50, but I don't like this enough to trade it. No, as I always will tell you guys, there's no reason to ever trade something that's iffy to you. Now, it's different than if you're in a trade and you're trying to analyze what the hell's going on. That's different than, do I want to enter this market here? Well, if I'm uncertain, I just go, okay, well, I'm interested in that. I may mark it here. I may come back to it. But right now, I don't see a trade there. Even that looks like it broke as well. So you're starting to break some of the nice TA, right? So we got 707 here. Yeah, my view here, Diamond Lee, would be no trade until this clarifies as to what we've got here. I don't even if you're just thinking corrective, it's ABC. This would be 1, 2. That's not a great start of something coming down. Yeah. So my view would be no trade. I just don't see enough of a reason here to risk money. So we've broken on all sides. So the algos are losing. Don't worry about them. They'll get on the right side of it eventually. That's all you got to work with. And you lost your impulse here. So this would be a hold for me. Right? You got some sort of a triangle. Looks like it's happening there. Let that resolve itself. What I would suggest, even here, right? So maybe that's the start of the move down, where you might look at this and say, well, I got just an awful 5 here with a truncated 5th. Again, no trade, right? That's what I see there. Diamond Lee, just no trade. Okay. Then I got, so I hit the, okay. So the next one, I've got Delta Mike Romeo. Oh, it's been a new member. Just, oh, don't do it. Okay. All right. Well, because like we have a short one today, because I think that's everything we've got, unless we've got any requests from anyone who's watching. But it's just often the case. It's far fewer assets are posted when we do traditionals, which all makes sense, right? The majority of our members are all interested in crypto, but I think the value here is that they all trade the same. It doesn't matter. Now, there's nuance, right, as we're talking about with FX, just that comes from trading those markets, things you have to know about how behind the scenes, what's happening, what market makers are doing, right? We don't have to worry about that so much in crypto. We just got to worry about people that can manipulate the markets. But so you have this nice technical trade here, but now you're at a loss for where you are. So my thought is you just hold tight here, and that was Delta. Let's see what he came up with. ABC. Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's make it a short one then. If we've got no requests from anybody who's watching, we'll just make it a short one since we went long yesterday. Okay, guys. Well, yeah. Oh, it'll be lots for you tomorrow. All right. If you're watching or any of you YouTubers, right, I just want to encourage you to take a look at what happens. Now, it's a question. Are you going to make yours public tomorrow? Are you going to do a live stream public?
Yeah, if there's enough
assets.
Yeah, so last week I did 5 hours because no one gave anything, and so I just randomly started going. But since I showed some nuggets for members that I wouldn't show for free, so that's why it was that way last week. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be requests.
Okay. So, well, just a reminder, you can always join us for free in our Discord. The links are directly underneath this video. You know, start for the white belt. That's free. Just pop you into the Discord, get you access to a few channels, early releases of the Bitcoin videos, those kind of things. There's definitely value there. And then you make an evaluation as to whether or not you want to continue. And there's plenty of opportunity to check with other members, which I always encourage. Don't ask me how it is. Ask the other members how it is. So something to keep that in mind. That's a very easy way to come in and just ask around, see if it's worth the investment. I think you'll like what you'll hear. And with that, I guess we'll call it a short day, right? We'll go back. Looks like a little time to do some more trading today. So with that, I wish you guys a good afternoon, and don't forget to check out Mind Crypto tomorrow. You'll get a different approach, but equally valid. Very interesting use of geometry and long-term supply support and resistance. Okay, guys, have a good day, and we'll catch you later.
See ya.